Ayo, party people, welcome back. Thank you everyone for being here, whether you are on Spotify, YouTube, or I don't know if I throw this on another platform, but as of now, that's where we've got it going. Either way though, I am so grateful for you for taking the time to listen, and if you are new here, welcome. My name is Alexa, I'm a life and death coach, and the focus of my work is helping people through transition and reinvention. So today I want to talk about why it is that strong women struggle in relationships or can struggle in relationships. Of course, there's not one singular right answer for this topic, but I do think that if more men and women understood some of these patterns, why some of these things are occurring, the psychological backends of these, then we might have a better shot at having healthier relationships. And a lot of this is coming from personal experience because I am somebody who identifies as a quote-unquote strong woman. Independence is one of my highest values, but I do think that there is a limit where independence becomes isolation and it ends up having a deleterious effect on relationships. And some strong women do not have the same challenges that I have. This is not a blanket statement, and I'm not saying that all women will struggle with this, but I know I am not the only one. A lot of us were brought up to value ourselves based on what we can do or what we can do for others. None of what I'm about to say is meant to be sexist, but I do honor masculine and feminine energy. Every single person has both. Whether or not you are more comfortable predominantly in your masculine, in your feminine, or somewhere that's like right in the middle, that's going to vary from person to person. But I will say that the overwhelming majority of women, if they could have it their way, would prefer to operate in their feminine, especially in their relationships, and a majority of men would prefer to operate in their masculine energy, especially in their relationships. Again, of course, this doesn't mean that both parties don't have both, and it also doesn't mean that women are only allowed to embody feminine energy, because I think that that is bananas. If you want to be healthy, you need to learn how to cultivate both within yourself, but I think one of the challenges that we are experiencing nowadays is that a lot of women are brought up to value themselves for what they can do, and doing is masculine energy. Being is feminine energy. If you are more focused on cultivating your energy, your essence, your vibration, what you bring to the table, the energy that people are going to experience around you, what your, again, being is, that's very feminine energy. And the subtle art of valuing feminine energy has been lost because so many of us have been funneled into a system where we are encouraged to focus all of our energy on productivity. What can you do? What can you get done? And this isn't to say that that doesn't have value, because it certainly does, but there are limits of that, especially when a woman and her biology is designed to operate honoring the fact that she's a woman. She goes through a roughly 28-day cycle every single month. And if your expectation is that she's going to show up with the same productivity and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da that men do, I would argue that you have unfair expectations of her. Not that she's not capable of it, because she certainly is. We've seen this. We know there are a lot of female executives, female businesswomen, female entrepreneurs. I am one of them. But when she grows up with a subconscious belief that the most important asset that she has to offer is what she can produce and her daily output and what she can do and do and do and do and do, and there's no emphasis put on her being, on her energy, on her light, on her essence, on all the like beautiful things that women bring to the world, on her ability to nurture things, on her ability to appreciate these really small, beautiful moments in life, on her ability to cultivate really meaningful relationships. Because those aren't deemed as important or deemed as vital, or they haven't been for a long time, a lot of strong women will really heavily lean into their masculine energy, and they become very comfortable with this side of themselves. I was a woman who operated almost exclusively out of my masculine energy for years, because I knew that it created value for other people. And I am somebody who does value other people. But the interesting thing about that is that the reason that I like to create value is because it is in service of deeper relationships. And a lot of times, feminine energy is more focused on cultivating relationships. Masculine energy is more focused on creating results or creating outcomes. Neither one is inherently bad. We need both in our society in order to function and to thrive. But my point with this is that most women who will identify as a strong woman is likely somebody that has at some point in her life identified or overly identified with her masculine energy. So when it comes to relationships, and I don't mean to be exclusive, but let's just say we're looking at heteronormative relationships. If a man prefers to be in his masculine, he prefers to be the leader, he prefers to be the one that's assertive, the one that's pursuing, the one that is more focused on doing, then if a woman is in her masculine, it ends up creating competition and it creates conflict. And in my opinion, the most beautiful kind of teamwork with masculine and feminine energy is when both are honored, because we need both. Masculine energy is a straight line, feminine energy is a circle, and true genuine growth is not meant to be a straight line, it's meant to be a spiral. Either you're spiraling up or you're spiraling down. But healthy, sustainable, keyword sustainable productivity is not a straight line. Look at the seasons of life. We always come back to winter. We always come back to spring. We always come back to summer. This is the nature of life. This is the pattern of life. This is how it is best done. And sure, the direct linear approach has its benefits and it has its place in the world. So if a man wants to embody his masculine and he wants to create that more linear approach in a relationship, if a woman is also in her masculine, again, with that linear approach, sure, this could maybe work really, really productively if they're headed in exactly the same direction. But oftentimes, because we are people, that's not always how it's going to work. And so a strong, independent woman who knows that she is capable and knows how capable she is in life might really struggle to lean into this more feminine energy, this receptive, this flow, this surrendering. Because in her day-to-day life, either when she was growing up as an adult or both, she learned that that's not the way that she should be operating. Or she learned that that aspect of her is not the singular most valuable. And if she wants to bring her best to a relationship, and assuming this is a strong woman who really cares about the person she's with, she wants to bring her best, she might misunderstand that bringing her best means that she is the one taking the lead. She's the one making the moves and making everything happen. And when she does that and she leans out of that feminine energy, a lot of the times she will stop taking care of her own self, or she'll stop taking care of her own energy. She will start to lose touch with that sense of freedom, that sense of playfulness, that sense of like just genuine beauty. And then because this unfolds, she may, this is not all women, but some women may subconsciously blame their partner for this evolution of her stepping into her masculine or even staying in that masculine energy because she can't soften. And I was one of these women who did not understand that softness and strength can coexist. I always thought it was like you have to be one or the other. Either you're going to be strong and and if it doesn't work, you cut it off and you move on, or you're soft and you're fluid and you have no boundaries, and then people walk all over you and you get abused or you get used or people take advantage of you. And neither one of those narratives is productive for a healthy relationship because, again, a healthy relationship requires both masculine and feminine energy. Who's leaning into which energy is really up to you and whatever works best in your container. And as I previously noted, men and women both have masculine and feminine. So within themselves, within their relationship to themselves, they also need to cultivate that balance. But once they have cultivated that balance and they are now working together as a team, it's really important that they understand the dynamic of their energy and how it's going to play off of each other. The energy that he's more comfortable embodying needs to be complemented by the energy that she's bringing forward, or else they're, again, going to experience conflict, or the lack of polarity is going to make them lose attraction to each other and they're just going to feel like roommates one day. And everything that I'm sharing right now is stuff that I have learned the hard way, stuff that I have learned by observing patterns over the last 12 years, research on attachment styles and male and female biology and the way that our brains are wired and the way that our bodies work and the way that we naturally respond to our environments. And in a world where a lot of women are brought up to feel like they are most valuable for what they do and not for who they are in their essence, leaning into who they are in their essence can almost feel like a betrayal to their partner because they don't feel like they're bringing the best part of themselves forward. It's really important that men and women honor our differences. It doesn't mean that we're any less capable, but it does mean that we both have our own strengths, and there's a reason for that. You can't make a baby with just women. You can't make a baby with just men. You need to have both masculine and feminine in order to create something that's real and beautiful, in order to bring something to life. When you're in a relationship with somebody else, the energetic underpinning, and I'm not just talking about gender, but masculine energy and feminine energy will both be required in order for that to develop in a way that creates genuine depth and also creates genuine change for each person. And this may not be the most popular belief, but my belief is that a relationship should change you for the better. It doesn't mean that you completely abandon or neglect the version of you that existed before this relationship, but it does mean that you have to be willing to let go of the identity of who you were on your own in order to create something or build something better. And strong, independent women need to let go of the notion that they have to do everything on their own if they want to create a genuinely fulfilling relationship that doesn't feel like roommates and that doesn't feel like a simple exchange. And if you are listening to this and you are someone who identifies as a strong woman, my encouragement to you is to understand that you can be strong and you can also be soft. You do not have to be one or the other. For my guys who are listening, if you are with a woman or want to be with a woman who is generally strong in her life, Please understand that leaning into her softness may be something that actually requires practice, and the more that you show up for her and show her that when she leans into her softness, it is safe and that she is loved for her femininity and she is loved for her being and for her essence, not just for what she can do for other people, you will see her start to glow in ways that you may never have seen in her before, and that is going to be one of the most beautiful gifts for both of you and for your relationship. As per usual, my guys and my gals, please let me know if this one resonates. You can shoot me a message or comment on any of my videos at alexa.burger, that's Buerger on Instagram. And if you haven't already checked out my page and my work, please feel free to do so. Love and appreciate you guys, and I will see you guys next week. Have a good one.